Alright, so let's talk about MapReduce program. So we'll try to start with a simple word count example. Okay, and this word count example is nothing but hello world example in MapReduce. Alright, now let's assume that I have a file of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I'll assume that the file is of 130 MB. Let's assume. Okay, and each line contains the data of 10 MB. Let's assume. Okay, so you tell me, if I store this data into SDFS, then how many block is needed to store this data? Word1.txt is a file with 130 MB of data. If I store this data into SDFS, how many total blocks are needed? 3. Right, 3 blocks. Block 1, block 2, block 3. The size of block 1 is 64 MB. The size of block 2 is 64 MB. It became 128, and this one is 2 MB. So 64 MB means, let's assume 6 line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, this was stored in block B1. Block B1 took 60 MB. Block B2 took another 60 MB. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this took 10 MB, one line. Okay, so we wrote a MapReduce program. And we told our MapReduce program to work on this data. Okay, so what will happen is, my input file, what is my input file name? word1.txt. This is my input file name. Okay, so this input file will go to our map and reduce slot. Do you remember map and reduce slot? This input file will go to map and reduce slot. I'll say we'll go to task instance. Okay, we'll go to task instance. In the task instance we have 2 slots, right? What are those slots? Map slots and reduce slot. Okay, so mapper, see, in MapReduce program there are 2 components. As a programmer you have to write mapper code and you have to write reducer code. Okay, as a Java programmer you will write, or I'll say Hadoop developer will write mapper code, he will write reducer code, and he will bundle this mapper and reducer code into jar file, word count.jar. Okay, and this jar file is submitted to your cluster. So what will happen is, in the map slot, okay, before map slot this data will be converted into key value pair. This data will be converted into key value pair. What is the key? Key will be something like this, 0, the first key. What will be the value? The whole line. Okay, now what is the size of this apple? How many characters? 5. 0 plus 5 is how much? 5. So next would be 6, that is the key, and this is the value. So what is the size of this? Let's say 20. Altogether let's say it contains 12 words. 22. Okay, let's say 22 plus something gave me 35. Okay, dog means 3, 3, 3, 9, 10, 11 plus 11, 35, 45, 46, 47. Okay, now let's assume another 20 words, so 57, 67. Okay, now after 67, let's say another 20 words, 97. Are you understanding what I'm trying to do? 97, 101, 104, 107, 110. Okay, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create a key value pair. Okay, with what is this key? This is actually a offset number, the starting position. The starting position of this apple is 0, started with 0. apple apple, 5 characters are there. 0 plus 5, 5. Okay, next number is 6, 6. And now let's say here some, the total length is let's say 12, 13, 15. Okay, 15, 15 plus 6 goes to 21, plus 1, 22. Again another 15, 35, another 10 or 12, 47. Are you understanding this concept? Yes or no? You can say no if you don't understand this. uh, 110, I'll say 114, and let's say another 20 words, so 114.20, 134, 135, comma, paste. Okay, so when you give your data for processing, your input file will be converted in this format. Okay, will be converted in this format. All right, then this data will go to your mapper code. Whatever code you have written, whatever mapper code you write, the data will go in this form to mapper. Okay, so I will say raw file converted into key value pair line by line. Okay, and that data goes to mapper. So mapper, in the mapper you need to write the logic to count the word. Okay, and finally again the mapper will again give key value pair data. Again this will go to reducer. Okay, the reducer will write the data into the output file. The reducer will write the data into output file in form of key value pair only. So we'll try to understand now slowly one by one what is happening here. Okay, so I had a raw file. Let me assume that the size of this file is only 1 kilobyte. Okay, initially let's understand the size of this word count is only 1 kilobyte. We will talk about 130 megabyte later. Let's assume only 1 kilobyte is there. So how many block it will be divided into? Only one block. Okay, only one block. So block 1. So block 1 means how many map slot is needed to process this block? How many map slot is needed? Only one, right? Because one map slot will process only one block. Okay, it will never happen that two blocks are processing the same file. Okay, two map slot will never process a same block. One block means one map only, so only one map. Now in the map you'll get the data in this format. key and value. Keys are some numbers, values are your value. Okay, so in the mapper code, mapper code, what we will get? We'll get key value pair, right? So key value, key, what is key? The numbers. So are we going to do anything with the number? No, it's not it. Number is not important for us. What is important? The word. So in the mapper code, what we will do, we will get all these words. Okay, in the mapper code we'll get all these words, and the mapper will write like this: apple is repeated one time. Okay, for this ball is repeated one time, cat is repeated one time, dog is repeated one time. Again, apple is repeated one time, ball is repeated one time, dog 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 is repeated one time. Again, apple repeated one time, grapes repeated one time, grapes repeated one time, apple repeated one time, ball repeated one time, ball repeated one time, apple repeated one time, ball repeated one time, ball repeated one time, ball repeated one time, grapes repeated one time, dog repeated one time. Are you getting my point? So the mapper will try to write 1 for whatever occurrence he finds. It will never try to count total, how many total apples are there in the file, how many total apples are there in a single line. It will not see that. It will blindly do, whenever I see any word, I will just say first time, first time, first time only. Got my point? So as I told you in this diagram, the raw file will be converted into key value pair, and then it goes to mapper. What is the output of mapper? Key value pair or not? What is the output of the mapper? Key value pair. Okay, key value pair. So this data, actually your file was this is actually your file. Your file contains this data, but internally what happens, that will be converted into key value pair like this, right? And this data will be input to your mapper, to your Java code. Okay, and in the Java code, what we will do, we will get this data. Okay, we will get this data and we will write it, we will return the data in this format: apple 1, ball 1, cat 1, dog 1. Whatever word we come across, we will simply say this is the first time, this is the first time. Okay, we will just say this is the first time, this is the first time. So the mapper will give you the output like this. And then what will happen, this data will be grouped together. Okay, sorry, this data will be first sorted together. So when you say sorted together, how many apples we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, only 6 apples, right? So they will be sorted together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next, After apple, alphabetical order B for ball. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 balls. A comma 1. Copy 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Oh, I'm sorry, I just press Control. Done. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. 8 times ball was emitted. Next, cat. How many times cat is there in the code? How many times cat is present in this data? Cat. 2 times. Cat here. Cat here. 2 times. So cat will be written 2 times. Cat 1. Cat 1. After that, dog. Dog is 7. Sure. Dog 1. Copy. Paste 2 3 4 5 6 7. Okay, next grapes we have 1 2 3 4 5 grapes. One, copy 2 3 4 5. Okay, so this takes place in which phase? Mapper got over. Mapper emitted your apple 1, banana 1 and all. After that it goes through this phase. What is this phase called? Sorted phase. Yes. So in the sorted phase the data will be sorted together. Okay. Then we have a phase called group phase, or I can say shuffle phase. In this phase what will happen? All the apples will be grouped together. How many? 1 2 3 4 5. 5 apples. Okay, 5 apples. So here apple, okay, is my key. 1 1 1 1 1 5 times. Ball how many times? 2 times. 1 1. Cat how many times? 2 times. Dog how many times? 7 times. Grapes how many times? 5 times. Okay, so after a sort phase, shuffle phase will take place, and this shuffle phase will create the list like this. Okay, and then your reducer phase will come. In the reducer phase, what is the key? Key is fruit name. What is the value? The value is this array. Getting my point? In the reducer phase, the key is this fruits, and the value is the array. The value is the array. Okay, so this reduce phase will be called for each entry. How many entries we have here? 5 entries. 5 entries we have. So this reducer phase will be called for 5 entries. Okay, and mapper phase will be called how many times? For each line. Okay, so let me be very clear on this. When you write your map program, you will write something like this: public class my mapper extends mapper. Okay, it will have a method called map. Public void map parameters here. So this map method will be called for each time. Okay, for each line this method will be called. So if I assume my abc.txt has 300 lines of code, how many times the mapper method will be called? A question to you: if my file contains 300 lines of code, how many times this map method will be called? So your mapper will get called for these many times, 13. Okay, and each time it will have access to one complete line, only one complete line. Okay, so for the first time how many word we will get? Only one. So in this, what we will write, what we will do this with this apple, we will just say apple1. Write apple1. Okay, in the second time the same map method will get how many words? 3. This time what you will do? You will write ball1, you will write cat1, you will write dog1. Is not it? Third time how many words you will get? 3 words. So this time what you will do? You will write apple1, you will write ball1, you will write dog1. Now here, can you tell me here what is the key and what is the value? In the line 1, what is the key? No, key is not 1. The key will be this word. The key will be this word. The value is this. Okay, the key, the value, the key, the value, the key, the value. See, earlier when we had this file, earlier when we had this raw file, it got converted into this key and value pair, right? So at that time, in this time, what is the key? The key are basically the numbers. The values are basically the whole line, right? The whole line is the value. So at that time, did we had any significance of this key? No, we did not had any significance of this key, right? And we are not bothered, to process that key. We are really not interested to process that key. But in the map phase, you will read the data line by line and you will start generating key and value pair. So in this case, do you think we have any significance of this one? Yes or no? In this case, when I say apple1, ball1, cat1, do you think we have significance of this key, sorry, this value. We will have, because we need this value to count, right? If you write it 0, then while counting you will not find apple. Yeah, it is always 1. I agree that it is always 1, because we are just trying to understand the simple word count example. Okay, but if it is very complex, then you may not be interested to return always 1. So for the simplicity we have given 1, but still there is a value for this, right? Because at the end we are going to add all these ones. Okay, so the raw file got converted into this key value pair, and then it was given to map. The map will start emitting word 1, word 1, word 1, whatever. So every time it finds a word, it will not try to check whether those number we have already discovered or not. It will simply say I got apple one time. Okay, so everybody will say I got apple one time, I got ball one time, I got grapes one time, I got dog one time. And finally after this, after the map will run for 13 number of times. The map will run for 13 number of times. So after 13th time you will get this data. Agreed? You will get this data completely. Agreed? The mapper output will be like this. Whatever how many number of time it finds apple, it will simply say apple 1, ball 1, cat 1, dog 1, apple 1. Clear till now? Now once this is done, then automatically the Hadoop framework will give this data for sorting. Okay, we are not going to write any sorting algorithm. The Hadoop framework itself will give all this data for sorting based on what? Based on the key. Okay, in the alphabetical order of the key. So this data will be sorted like this: all apples together, all balls together, all cat together, all dog together, all grapes together. Are we clear till now? Okay, now sorting is done. What is next? What is next to sorting? What is next to sorting? Yeah, shuffle phase or group phase, right? So in this it will start grouping the element. Apple, it will not count. Okay, it will not directly count 5. It will just say 1 1 1 1 1. Ball 1 1, cat 1 1, dog 1 1 1 1, grapes 1 1 1 1. Okay, so shuffle and shuffle phase. In this shuffle phase you will get the data in this format. Okay, the data will be grouped together in this format. Now after this, what will happen? This data will now go to your reducer. This data will now go to your reducer group by group. Okay, in the mapper the data will go line by line. In the reducer the data will go group by group. So how many group we have here? How many group we have here? How many? Come on, 5. 5. Why are you thinking so much? 5 group. Group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, group 5. So in this group, what is the key and what is the value? in this group, what is the key and what is the value? Yeah, key is the fruit name and the whole bunch of array list is the value, right? The whole bunch of array is the value. So you will get key and you will get value. So this is a key, this is the value. So how many times the reducer will be called? How many times the reducer will be called? 5 times. Okay, I said map method will be called for each line. Reduce method will be called for each group. Okay, now as I said mapper, this is how you write your mapper. Similarly, you can write your reducer like this. My reducer extends reducer. Okay, so this reducer is a predefined class in Java in Hadoop, and that mapper was also a predefined class in Hadoop. So here you will have reduce method. Okay, here string, the key will be basically fruit name. Sorry, I'll just say name, not fruit. I'll just say name. Okay, and this value will be basically array. Let me just say integer array. For example, I'm not giving you the exact syntax now. Okay, so inside this, if you print name, what will you get output? You will get apple, ball, cat, dog, right? And what will be the value you will have in array? What will be the value you will have in this array? Yes, yeah, you will get a lot of ones, is not it? You will get a lot of ones. So what are you supposed to do? You are supposed to iterate, is not it? This array, you iterate this array and get the value and sum it all together. Okay, you can also do like this. You just check the length of this, is not it? If you are sure that it contains only one, then just check the length. What is the length of array? If the length of the array is 5, that means the count is 5. Am I right? Because all the element contains only one. We don't have 0, we don't have -1. Getting my point? Or you use for int I colon array. Okay, total is equal to total plus I, int total equal to 0. You will get more clarity when you do our first MapReduce program. Write apple, I'll say key, and then I'll say total. Are you getting what I'm doing? So tell me, this reduce method will be called how many times? This reduce method will be called how many times? Come on, see the output of shuffle phase and tell me this reduce method will be called how many times? How many groups we have? 5 groups. So this reduce method will be called 5 times. First time this data will go only. Okay, this is the key, this is the value. So when you say SOP of name, apple will be printed. Okay, and when you get this array of 1 1 1 1 1, you start iterating through each element and start counting 1 plus 1 2 plus 1 3 plus 1 4 plus 1 5. Store it on a temporary variable called total. Total is equal to 0 initially. It will iterate through the whole array 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, and finally it is writing apple is 5 times. Are you clear? Next, again the reduce method will be called. This time the reduce method will be called for ball. Okay, so for this what will be the output of the reducer? Ball is equal to how many times? 2 times. Again, once again the reducer will be called for cat. Reduce method will be called for cat. So this time what will be the output of the reducer? Cat 2. Again the reducer will be called for this group 7, dog 7. Again the reduce method will be called for grapes. Grape is the key and 111 is the value. Grape 5. Are we clear? Okay, so let's recap it because it's very important that we clear the basic. So I'll say I have a word.txt. Okay, I'll not take a big data, I'll just take very small data. Now I have apple, 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 ball, apple, ball, 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 apple, apple. Okay, now let's say I have a word.txt which contains this data. So initially it is a raw data or not? But in the Hadoop we need the data in form of what? Key value pair. In Hadoop we need the data in form of key value pair. Okay, so the Hadoop will take care of converting it into key and value pair, right? So the key may be 0, a number, and what will be the value? What will be the value? The whole line. The whole line. Paste. Again here let's say 30, any number. Copy, paste. Here let's say 50. Copy, paste. Done. So our simple file which contained a lot of line was converted into key and value pair. After that what will happen? After that this data will go to mapper, is not it? This data will go to mapper class. Which method in the mapper class? What is the method name we have? In the mapper class what is the method we have? Map method. Yes, we have map method. Okay, and in this map method you will this map method will be called how many times? Okay, so no problem, you'll get the video. In map method the map method will be called for how many times? 3 times, right? 3 times, each time for each line. So for the first time, what is the key? What is the key for the first time? Key is 0. and what is the value? The whole line. Okay, so this is what input key and input value is, not input to the mapper, input key and input value. Okay, so what is the output it is going to give for this particular line? What will be the output? What will be the output here? We got this input is 0 and the whole line, but the output will be apple 1. This is one output, apple 1, another output, again apple 1, another output, again apple 1, sorry, ball. Getting my point? So this line goes to mapper. The mapper will convert this whole line into multiple words, and for each word it will start emitting word and one, word and one, word and one. Are we clear, guys? So first time this was the input and this was the output. Next time for the second, what will be the key? What will be the key for the second time? Key will be 30 and the value will be the whole line, apple ball ball. Apple ball ball. Okay, so output will be apple one time, ball one time, ball one time. Right, again for the third time, what will be the key? Key is 50 and value is the whole line, ball apple and apple. Okay, and the output will be ball 1, apple 1, apple 1. Okay, so after this map is completed, see what is the output of the map, what is the input to the map? The input to the map is key and value one by one, is not it? Each time. What is the output of this map? Output of the map is key and value, key and value, key and value for each line. Okay, after this what will happen? It will go for which phase? It will go for which phase? Sorted phase. Okay, it will go for sorted phase. In this sorted phase, what you will get? You will get apple 1 how many times? 1, apple 1. So you will get this for how many times? 1 2 3 4 5 and 6. Copy 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, ball, how many times you will get ball? 4 times balls. So this is a ball. First time, second, third, fourth. And how many times cat is there, or apple and ball only? Okay, apple and ball only we had. So you will get apple and ball. After that, what is the phase? What is the next phase? Grouping phase. So how many group we have? 2 groups. Okay, what is the group 1 key name? What is the group 1 key name? Apple. Okay, and what is the value? How many times? What is the value and how many times? 6 times. 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, now next value is ball. How many times this one? 2 3 4. Okay, so grouping is done. After this, which is the phase? Okay, so the output of this grouping phase is this, apple and ball. Now what is the next phase? Reducer phase. So reducer, in the reducer there is a method called reduce. Okay, this method will be called how many times? 2 times. So for the first time, what is the key? Apple. What is the value? 6 ones, like this. Now what are we supposed to do here? We are supposed to iterate through all the elements, get the count, get the value, add it together, and finally write apple comma 6. Is not it? Okay, for the second time, let's talk about the second time now. Second time, what is the key? Ball. What is the value? How many times? Okay, now what are you going to emit from this? What should be the output of this? Ball comma 4. Okay, now what was the size of this file? 1 KB only, right? So here only one map slot will be used, and only one reduce slot will be used. Okay, and finally when you see the output file, you will see apple comma 1, sorry, apple comma 6, apple comma 6, ball comma 4. You'll see this output in the output file. Clear on this? So now did you understand how the MapReduce will work? What code will come to map? What code, what data will come to map? What data will go out of the map? What data will go to reduce? And what data will come out of reduce phase? Are we clear on this? Okay,